All right, on this episode of the LPDS, we get into a very quick Giants update. Very quick. And you'll know why in the Junction, why it's very quick. Talk about a couple of things I had going on this past week with Spearhead Leadership and some podcast guest appearances that I'll be making in the near future, and I already recorded. And in the Junction, I do a little bit of ranting and raving once again about snow, and you'll understand why in the Junction. All of that plus a nice little cage fact for you coming up right now. All right, Jabronis, we're back. Welcome back to Libretti Podcast Diary Show. I'm your host, Libretti, the show that talks about nothing but tries to find the lessons in everything. We have a good time doing it. Hope everybody had a good week. Mine was very busy. A lot of stuff going on in home life, work life, spearhead life, the works. But I'm not mad about it. We're moving and shaking. We're getting things done. So I hope everybody else was moving and shaking this week too, and trying to have a good time doing that. I don't have a lot of updates going on for you guys right now. I'll talk about some of them in the Junction, but not a lot going on this week, entertainment wise, that I can bring to you. But I was I did a guest spot on a podcast that's not coming out for another like 2 to 3 weeks, I think. But I did one. It was for this entrepreneur podcast, business podcast that they asked me to be on, and I might do another one. This organization has a couple of podcasts that they broadcast out there, so there was another one related to like business and leadership and stuff. So I did that. I'll let you guys know when that comes out. It's another smaller, I guess, newer podcast on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify. I think it's on all of them. But it was a nice experience. It was a good interview, great conversation. I thought would love to get your guys' feedback on it from for to help spearhead out. So when it does come out, I'll post some links on the socials so that if you guys are interested, you can check it out. It'll be on YouTube, I believe, and Apple and Spotify. So whatever your preferred method. The podcast is called Making It by Miracy FM. I'll spell all that crap out whenever the thing does come out. If it does come out, we'll see. Maybe the producers, go back through it and be like, not for us, or maybe it's too good for them. Who knows? But that was a fun experience. I'm going to be doing more of those hopefully in the near future, as well as getting guests on the Libretti Leadership Lab as well. I enjoy the guest stuff a lot better, and I've been slacking on getting guests here at the LPDS. I will get better at that as I have more time and more financial freedom to be able to go about and do that. But the guest stuff is just more fun. It's easier flowing. It's less monotonous thoughts of libretti and more LPDS style back and forths and stuff like that. I just like them better. They're just, overall the conversations are better. It's more entertaining for everybody else. So we're gonna try to get more guests on here. But the focus really though is spearhead guests first for the Libretti Leadership Lab because that's what I'm trying to build that out and get a following there as well. So that's all I got to say about that. Really quick, we're only talking about the Giants very briefly because, and I'll get into this more than Junction, we're going to have a guest episode hopefully next week, and we'll get, more into the details of the Giants situation. But as of today, the Giants and John Harbaugh agreed to a 5-year deal. I don't know the details and specifics of that. I don't know what the money was like. I don't know what kind of control he's going to have over not just the team, but the draft and picking players and recruiting and stuff as well. Hopefully, he has a little bit more control uh, than than previous coaches and has more influence in that because as long as they have that garbage GM, they're going to keep picking mostly boobs. So we'll see how that goes. I'll say two things on this, and then again, we'll talk about it more in the future. But two things on this. One, I am still a little worried about the Giants' defense and specifically their ability to close games out. This year was abysmal. I think it was 6 games they lost after they were leading with like 5 minutes left in the game. They've done that time and time again in the past. But also, John Harbaugh has a history of that too with his teams with the Ravens the last few years, where they're winning big, end of the game comes, and their defense decides to go to sleep. Now, correlation does not mean causation. That does not mean John Harbaugh was the reason for that, but you know, the buck stops with the coach. Something was going on that he was not addressing enough to fix the problem. So, interesting to see how that works out. The second thing I'll say is that I am happy to admit that we were wrong on our coaching predictions. We were half right in the fact that we said the Giants were going to go all in on Harbaugh. My prediction was that they were going to let the others that pay no attention to the other good options, and then Harbaugh was going to go to a different team, and the Giants were going to be hung, high and dry, and have to deal with some fat Mike McCarthy or something like that. Whatever his name is. Is it Kevin McCarthy? Mike McCarthy? I don't know. Why do I keep saying Kevin McCarthy? Maybe I went to school. Maybe I went to middle school with a Kevin McCarthy. I don't remember. But I'm happy that didn't happen. I'm happy the Giants did go all in on Harbaugh and he signed it on the dotted line. It sounded like he wanted to go to the Giants program in general already. So that's certain, obviously that helped. And then he got a chance to meet with some of the players and I kind of put him over, which is great. Because I do think at the end of the day, regardless of his track record in the fourth quarter with the Ravens, he was still the best coaching option out there. Mike Tomlin, I don't think is able to coach another team in the next year. I think the Steelers still own the rights to him, which I don't know how that works. That sounds crazy to me. So I don't even know if he was able to actually go to a different team this coming year. Mike McDaniel, or whatever his name is from the Dolphins, stinks. Don't want that little wiener hanging around the New York Giants organization. He has no discipline. He can't discipline his team. He can't hold them accountable for anything. So the Giants don't need a best pal as their coach in the locker room who's going to go get high with them and talk about boobies and stuff. They need a guy who's going to set them straight and set them on a path to success. McDaniel's not that guy. He's a guy who's able to come up with crazy offensive plays as an offensive coordinator. And if he's got the good talent already in the room, they'll be decently successful. The Giants don't have all the good talent in the room. They have a couple of shining stars, and that's about it. They got a lot of problems they got to fix. He's not that guy. So I'm glad he wasn't in the mix. Kevin Stefanski, I liked him as a coach with the Browns. He's not as good as Harbaugh. That's for damn sure. So, and the other coaches that got canned, I forgot who else. Pete Carroll, I always thought that guy was a swine. A sniveling little weaselly, corrupt criminal bitch, beta bitch boy. So he's old anyway. He got canned by the Raiders because they were an absolute dumpster fire. And I always thought Pete Carroll was overrated. I think he was good because he had good players that were drafted and traded away and whatever. He was a sleazeball at USC. He did a bunch of dirty little dastardly things back then. And when it was time to pay the piper, he bailed before he was held accountable and left his players to wear the brunt of the responsibility on the recruiting and friends of the program kind of stuff with money under the table and all this other sleazy crap. So I'm happy he's not the coach. I know a lot of people like Pete Carroll and everybody talks so highly of him on ESPN and all the analysts and guys like that. They suck him off like he's a god. And I don't think he's that good at all. I think he had a good team with the Seahawks when they were stacked and their defense was legit, and that's it. In college, it's a lot easier to be successful, especially when you're paying guys under the table like he was and not getting in trouble for it. And so he was good at USC when he coached there. That's it. He coached for the Patriots. They made the Super Bowl 1 year and they lost to Brett Favre and the Packers back in the 90s. And that's it for that guy. So I don't know what all the hubbub is about that dude, but glad he's not the option. And then I don't even remember the other coaches that got canned. They all stunk. So long story longer, glad Harbaugh's there. We'll talk more about the Giants in the next episode, most likely. With that, let's just get right into the good stuff. I'm moving right along here. Get into the good stuff. Step in the cage.
Okay, let's run.
All right, today's Into the Cage segment is proudly sponsored by Sausage Fingers. Just when you thought we couldn't bread and deep fry anything else in this great country of super fatsos, Tony Rigatoni does it again with Sausage Fingers, a delightful Italian-American street fare meal you can also enjoy as a microwave dinner treat when you're home all alone choking your chicken. From the makers of hot dog fingers, Sausage Fingers is exactly what it sounds like. A spicy Italian sausage breaded in a KFC-like breading, then deep fried in a certified pre-owned fry oil, and packaged, frozen, and stocked at the grocery store for your convenience. So to get yourself a pack of Sausage Fingers today, head on over to your local Piggly Wiggly, and if you use the promo code FATBASTARD, you'll get 29% off your first pack. Look, here's the thing. Two quick things on Sausage Fingers. Number one, I'm shocked. I am legitimately shocked. I'm making these up, by the way. If in case you haven't figured that out yet, and in the 6 years that we've been doing this damn thing, I'm shocked that those are not real. I'm shocked that and hot dog fingers and anything else that you can bread and deep fry is not a thing yet. There's a ton of deep fried crap already. Fried Oreos, fried Reese's, all the crap you get at carnivals and county fairs and all that stuff. I'm still shocked that they haven't done that with other stuff yet, like hot dogs and sausages and stuff like that. Boggles my mind. The second thing I'll say is I stink at writing these sponsors. I hate doing it. So if you think the sponsors are crap, that's why. There's just no passion in the sponsors anymore. The whole idea behind the sponsors to begin with was it was a placeholder for real sponsors, and we're going on 6 years, and I can't even get. Fake food is sponsoring the show, but we're gonna stay strong. We're gonna keep doing it. Every once in a while, there'll be a good, be a funny, good sponsor out there, and I appreciate your understanding and patience with the whole thing. And one day soon, a real sponsor will come along. But until then, that's what you're getting. We're going to figure out what else you can deep fry, and we're going to get them as a sponsor, I promise you. So, there you go. Anyway, the Cage fact. Nic Cage, just when you think he was going to take a break. Let me just give you a quick synopsis of what he's been doing the past year. Okay? And this is just from the stuff I remember. Spider-Man Noir. A whole season's worth of Spider-Man Noir he filmed. The John Madden biography movie. Biopic. The Surfer was last year, I think. Maybe it was this year. Don't remember. The horror Jesus movie, Carpenter's Son. There was another movie that was out too that I forgot the name of it. Another movie I forgot the name of. And just when you think he's taking it, he started filming. I forgot he started filming Lord of War 2 with the Skarsgård fella. Now he is in the middle of filming a movie in Arkansas. It's an action thriller. Okay? It's an action thriller, and the name of the movie is called The Best Pancakes in the Country. So I just want you to think about it. There's no story, like there's no synopsis or summary of the plot available yet. This was released in the local Arkansas like newspaper where I saw it on their website. So there's nothing out there publicly yet about this movie. But just picture that for a second. An action thriller movie set in like rural Arkansas, starring Nic Cage, titled The Best Pancakes in the Country. And it's not about pancakes, folks. Well, maybe it is, but it's an action thriller that could that may or may not be about pancakes. So, look, what I think is happening is he's so above and beyond everybody else in skill level and talent and fame and machismo and everything about him that I what I think is happening is production studios, independent filmmakers are just they're taking out their Mad Libs books or they're going on digital Mad Libs. And it just says, give me a person's name, and it's always Nic Cage. They're like, we're obviously Nic Cage is the guy we're talking about. And then everything else when it comes to the movie, storyline, title, everything else is Mad Libs. Give me an adjective, give me a color, give me, a food, get whatever it is. They're just like, we're just making crap up and then we'll figure it out the story as we go along, but we want Nic Cage in it. And we're just gonna see how crazy of an idea we could come up with and just have him go at it and just make it something beautiful. That's what it sounds like they're doing, and that's what he is doing for them. So I'm on board for it. People might think, the hoity-toity film critics and connoisseurs of the world, self-proclaimed connoisseurs of the world, might lift their nose at the idea and think, oh, this is going to be another made-for-TV movie. This is beneath, real cinema, blah, blah, blah. Shut up. All right? Who doesn't want to watch a movie that has Nic Cage probably, most likely, eating tremendous pancakes, or maybe that's his character arc is he's going around the country looking for the best pancakes and he stops in Arkansas and then shenanigans are afoot. Maybe that's what it is. Regardless, who doesn't want to see Nic Cage eating pancakes and then fighting people? I'll wait. Anybody? And if you raise your hand or leave a comment in this video that you don't want to see that, respectfully, this is not the show for you. Respectfully, you can keep listening. I'm not going to turn you away. I'm not going to cancel you or call you names or anything like this, but respectfully, this podcast, the LPDS, is not the show for you. Because this universe is all about that shit. We're all about Nic Cage sliding down silver dollar pancakes, a short stack. Maybe it's a couple of short stacks. Fighting guys, probably having an outburst or two here and there. Probably getting an insanely beautiful woman to be become attracted to him. Tell me that's not right up our alley. What the hell was that, Libretti? Right up our right up our alley. Man, I need a speech therapist. Anyway, I'm excited for that. There's no information on when it's coming out, when it's going to be done. It was just a couple of Arkansas bumpkins saw him in the diner with the filming and the how you doings, and they said we got to write about this. And I'm damn glad they did. So that's the Cage fact. You're welcome. Moving on over to the Junction. We'll spin the logo up. Keep the train a rolling. We're we're burning through this. I'm not even mad about it. The reason why I'm not talking about the Giants more in depth today, because I wanted to, and I want to talk about football and other stuff, is because I was supposed to be in Maryland during this time of recording for the weekend. It was a quick trip to the Bone Crusher compound, Maloney Manor, to hang out with the Bone Crusher. And we were going to talk about Giants, maybe some wrestling, Good Brother Figs, movies, what you name it, sports, gym etiquette, you name it. We were going to talk about it. Specifically the Giants, though, because we're both Giants fans, and there was updates to discuss, and it was going to be the perfect weekend to do it because Harbaugh just signed, and we can talk about our predictions for the season and what have you. We're going to do that. Okay, the trip just got delayed a day, and you want to know why it got delayed? Because of the stupid damn snow. And now I'm going to bitch about the snow again because it continues to disappoint as an adult. It continues to disappoint as an adult. Now, here's the thing. I am up. One of the reasons I stay up here for so long is to help my parents when it's snowing out. So I know what I'm getting into. It doesn't mean I didn't come up here for the snow. I came up here to shovel it so my parents don't have to. Because they got a long, steep driveway, and it's a pain for them to have to do all that themselves. The snowblower is heavy. It slides down the steep hill on the driveway. And then a lot of times the snow is heavy and wet up in these parts of New Jersey. So it takes forever. It's back-breaking work. Shoveling snow is garbage. And I don't want them to do it. I don't want them having a stroke or a heart attack because of it. So if I'm here as much as I can to shovel the snow, I'm going to be here to shovel snow. And of course, it didn't snow for 3 or 4 weeks. And of course, the one free weekend I had where I planned one of my few brotherhood get-togethers that I'm still I'm still planning for. I still got the wet cat, maybe some others out there. I don't know who else is out. I can meet up with while I'm up here. This is the one of the first weekends I had available to go do any of that. And it snows right at the worst time. It wasn't an early morning snowing either, where I could have come out, knocked out the driveway and the sidewalk for my parents, and then been on my way. No, this didn't start snowing until about 9 a.m. It was a quick dusting early in the morning, and then 9 a.m. it started hitting hard, and it didn't stop until about 1 o'clock. Now, we're talking a 3-4 hour drive down to the Maloney Manor, to the Bone Crusher compound. So, 1 o'clock comes, 1 to 2 hours of snow plowing and what have you. I'm not driving down. It's not a wasted trip, but it's too short of a trip. We'll eat dinner, we'll go to bed, and then Sunday we'll get a couple hours to hit the gym and hang out, and then I'm back up here anyway. No. So I'm gonna go down the day this is posted on a Sunday. I will be en route, hopefully down to the compound to do that, and then I'll come back up Monday because it's a holiday on Monday, MLK Day or something like that, I believe. So hopefully we should have enough time to get a quick episode and a guest spot in to talk Giants and all the good fun stuff. But the snow is just in listen, I'm gonna keep talking about this. If you're watching YouTube later, I'm getting frustrated thinking about it. I'm gonna keep talking about it like a broken record to remind people. Now, I always try to see the good in things. or I try to see the usefulness of things. Like how can I be productive in this situation or with this thing or what have you? Not the toxic positivity where everything's always hunky dory. I'm a realist. I'm not that stupid. But I rack my brain constantly to find what the positives are, what the good of snow is these days. And I'm struggling. Because if you're a kid, it's great. It means no school. And you it breaks your heart when it snows on a weekend because that could have been a Monday or Tuesday that it snowed and you could have had off from school that day. And then you can go out and play in the snow and have a good time and whatever. And very rarely, especially kids these days, are you going out and shoveling the snow because the work ethic instilled upon kids is abysmal. It's negative this day and age. And I don't care if I sound like, oh, you're the old crotchety man now and my day kind of guy. And I don't give a shit. Kids are soft. Okay? You thought we were soft when we were kids compared to our parents? We probably were. These kids are nobody's doing anything. At least when I was a kid growing up, even up into my teens and high school years, there was always at least one person going door to door offering to shovel people's driveways in the wintertime. Now we almost always turned them down because we were, I was out there shoveling, my brother and sister, and my parents were out there too. We were all doing it together. But there's not a soul out there knocking on doors offering to shovel driveways for people anymore. Because they're all in there, they're on their video games, their parents are coddling them, they're turning them into little mush balls. They're sitting there, they're eating their snacks, they're getting fat and soft, they're building terrible habits. It's not their kids' fault. I don't blame the kids, I blame the parents and then the schools, wherever they spend the most of their time. That's what's happening. So for a kid, it's great for them nowadays, snow, because you get no school and there's no expectation you have to go out and do any work to shovel the snow. You can go outside if you want to. The likelihood, though, is you're going to stay inside and be a fatso. That's what kids do these days. They just be fatzos, and that's, whatever. That's your journey. I don't judge. It's just what I would never do that. I could never do that. I don't even do it now. Like on days I don't go to the gym or don't do anything, I feel like a fatso. I'm I'm feeling fat now. I work out still every day. I'm not going to the gym. I'm doing exercises all day. Push-up sets. I do superset Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I do superset of pull-ups and push-ups, maybe 6 to 10 sets a day, depending on how busy I am with work that day. Then I do leg day. I'll do lunges. I'll do air squats. I got my old man's bicycle over here. I'll get a couple of pedals in on the bike there. We got the Bowflex behind me here. I'll work into the Bowflex. And I still feel like a fatso. I mean, I'm eating all the cookies and the desserts to save my parents' life. So that's definitely not helping. I definitely am looking and feeling fatter than ever right now because of it. But even on the days, on my rest days, I feel like an absolute piece of fat garbage. I feel unhealthy when I'm not exercising and doing something. So I would never choose to sit back and watch certainly watch my parents shovel snow while I'm sitting here in the cush warm house. That's ridiculous. Should absolutely be the opposite situation. And that's why I come up here. That's why I like to come up here so that they don't have to do that stuff as much anymore. Now, my mom is a nut. She's a nut job. You know, Crazy Carol is nuts. She still will go out there. It's almost like she purposely will wake up earlier than everybody else so she can get out there before we yell at her. So she can get a couple of reps in, shovel reps. And I hate it because I don't want her. I don't want my parents dropping dead out there because the snow gets treacherous. But she's out there doing, and then eventually I'm out there loaded up with the snow not the snow plow, the snow blower, and I'll take care of the rest. I take care of business after that. I tell her to get inside. We fight, we yell, and then she goes inside and watches Blue Bloods in a nice warm house where she should be. Same with my old man. Maybe my old man will push the snow off the deck, the front patio deck that they have, because it's the Trex deck, and you can just push it off pretty. It's like Teflon. The snow just slides off unless it's super heavy. And then even if it's super heavy, we have two smaller snow blowers to go up there. One is one of those the electric shovels they call it, where you can just push the snow out with the electric snowblower little thing. They'll do that. And then there's a smaller one for lighter snow so that it's easier for my mom to use a snowblower if I'm not around. That's a lighter snowblower for her to do the driveway for light dustings, if you will. 1 to 3 inch dustings. We'll use that one. And then we got the big dog. I believe it's a John Deere. I'll go verify, get back to you on that. And that's the one I'll use. Tremendous. My dad uses it every once in a while, but I don't like when he does it. I always tell him to do, at least if he's going to do it, it's the bottom of the driveway, not the hill. Somebody will figure out the hill portion, because it's too heavy. He'll fall. Even though they put little grippers, wrap around grippers on their shoes. You know how like back in the day you used to put chains around your tires? It's like that, except it's rubber grippies that you wrap around and strap to your shoes, your boots, and it gives you a little extra gription out there on the slippery snow and ice. But I'll go out there. But I'm still trying to figure out if it snows as an adult, okay? If it's on a weekend, it sucks because now you have to shovel snow on your day off. And let's be honest, most people with a 2-day weekend, most people don't have a lot of actual off time per se. They got other things they have to do. Laundry, clean the house, grocery shopping. If you have kids, do shit with the kids, sports with the kids, whatever it is. So now you eliminated a 2 to 4 hour window of actual off time to go shovel snow on your weekend, on your day off. If it's during the week, two possible things happen. One, you get off from work, but you still have to shovel your driveway because you're not going to get 2 days off from work unless you're your own boss. And even then, if you're an entrepreneur and you're running your own business, the chances of you taking off are slim to none anyway, if you're really trying to grow that thing. No self-respecting entrepreneur is taking that much time off just because it snows. They're going to figure it out. They're in the fight for their lives to break even and start growing their business so that they're not out on their asses as a bum. So they're not taking off. But other people, if it's a bad snow out, you'll get a day off. But you get 1 day. And that day is going to be spent shoveling your snow to clear out and get ready to go to work the next day. And then the second thing that could happen is that you don't get off work. So you have to get out there even earlier. You have to speed through to get the driveway clear enough to drive out to go to work. But you still have to shovel the damn snow and drive in the damn snow with all the other idiots out there who can't drive in the snow. Because guess what they don't do in the driver's test? They don't teach you how to drive in poor weather. They don't teach you shit. You just got to go to some jabroni to get your 6 hours in so they can check you off that you didn't die. So now you have a permit, and then you go take a written test that you could take in any language you want. It doesn't have to be English, by the way. It could be whatever language that you speak. So there's no requirement to know how to read signs on the road when you take your driver's test. And you take your stupid written test, and then you sit with another jabroni for about 20 minutes, and you park, and you stop at a fake stop sign, all in a controlled parking lot style environment, and then they pass you. And then they say, good, well, now you know how to drive. You're an expert at driving. You got 6 hours and 20 minutes in drive time in. You're ready to rock and roll on the open road. By the way, sometimes there's bad weather, but you'll figure it out, right? What's the reality? Nobody figures it the fuck out. Sorry, T. Family show. So you got to drive in that. After you broke your back shoveling the snow to clear your damn driveway, and then you're probably working up a sweat, so you probably had to jump in the shower after, and then you had to get in a car and drive to work and sit in some cubicle or some office where you don't want to be, and you got to drive back home in treacherous conditions with shitty drivers out there, and then probably finish the rest of the driveway out because you only shoveled enough to get you out safely. Maybe you didn't shovel at all. Maybe you just shoveled a pathway so you can walk to the car, and you just drove out and powered through up the driveway to get out, and now you got to shovel the damn driveway so it doesn't freeze and turn to a block of ice. And then you got to go to bed and go to work the next day again and do it all again, and the snow's still going to be there. And the snow takes forever to melt up here, so it's going to be shitty driving conditions for at least 4 days with all the morons out there. The only potential good thing for a small percentage of adults out there, and I'm being generous here because this is on the technicality, it's technically possible to do this, but realistically it doesn't happen as an adult. But if you're an adult who happens to get off work that day and is in a physical fitness level that's good enough to survive, and you have a couple of adult friends in the neighborhood who also happen to be in that same situation, and you guys want to screw around like the old days and play a little football in the snow, have a little fun for a few minutes before everybody tears an ACL or an Achilles, you can potentially, technically speaking, go do that, and that would be a fun time. Because I loved playing football in the snow back in the day. I wish I was around people to do that, enough of my friend group of the brotherhood to be able to do that when it snows. But we haven't created our compound yet. We haven't created our brotherhood compound where we're all living in the same cul-de-sac, raising our families together and being able to play football in the snow as adults right now. So realistically speaking, nobody's doing that. Nobody's doing that. So I go back once again to what are the positive aspects of snow as an adult? I'm all ears. I'm open to the feedback. Maybe I missed something. I would gladly like to miss something to see a positive aspect of snow. Before you mention it in the comments or the DMs or the hotline, I will tell you this. I don't care about the beauty of the snow. That's not a positive in my line of work, in my opinion, my 1 cent opinion. Okay? Don't care. Oh, cool, it looks nice, but guess what? That snow is going to get heavy and wet on those tree branches, and you hope that your house is not covered, with trees, and the branches don't break off by the weight and drop down onto your house. The beauty and magic, oh cool, it looks great. Cool. Doesn't affect me. The only other, I just thought of a positive. I just thought of one positive. The only other good thing is in the dark of night, when I'm out there walking Randy, because it's white snow, obviously snow's white, before, and especially in the woods, it's not going to get a lot of dirt sprayed on it from the cars like it does on the side of the road, and it gets all dark and gravelly and nasty. It stays obviously white in the backyard in the woods. It's reflecting light better, so it's a little easier to see in the dark if there's deer or foxes or other animals out there that my old man wants me to keep tabs on when we go outside. So I'll flash the flashlight out there, shine the light out there, and it brightens up pretty nicely. That's so 1.5 positives. But conversely, it's white snow and my dog is white, so camouflage. I have to have him on a leash out here anyway because they don't have a fence and he'll chase the deer forever. But if I didn't have the leash, he's gone. He is he can lay down and hide from me forever. So, and the biggest bitch gripe I have about it is that because of the timing of it and how long it took to shovel out and the fact that I'm living here right now, the main reason I'm living here is to do this for my family. I couldn't go to the Bone Crusher compound today. And that's why you're seeing me here once again in the dungeon for this episode and not at the Good Brother Fig studio doing this week's episode. So maybe next week. Unfortunately, it is possibly going to snow again Sunday morning. Well, today, this morning, or whenever you were listening to this, the Sunday, the 18th of January, when I'm supposed to go, the contingency plan to go down there. It's supposed to snow again in the morning. I don't know about the snow in this particular area in Jersey, but I am prepared to get up early, plow out the driveway quickly, and get on the open road to get down there so that we can hang out. It's been too long. I don't have a lot of opportunities to go see all my friends in the area. And when I say the area, I mean everybody is at least 2 hours away. Except for Dave Mecca, who I go down the shore with. He's the only one that's 40 minutes away. And we already have a plan to go to the diner one day coming up soon. Otherwise, 2 hours minimum, which is another big reason why I didn't stay up here to live permanently, besides the fact that it's way too expensive and shitty to live up here. My social circle is not here. It doesn't make sense for me to live 2+ hours from everybody I interact with socially, all my friends. So I got the creature down in Texas and some other folks. So that was another big reason why I did that. Anyway, maybe next week, fingers crossed. I'm hopeful. I'm very positively hopeful about next week. We'll have a Bone Crusher guest appearance. It's been a long time coming. We haven't had a guest spot with the Bone Crusher in a long time, so I'll be good. And hopefully you guys will enjoy that. If you have questions though in the meantime, actually forget it. Don't ask questions because they're never gonna get to the Bone Crusher because I'm recording this, the time of this recording, or excuse me, the time you guys will see this episode or watch this episode, I already recorded that Bone Crusher episode, so that's my bad. I wanted it to be a surprise, folks. That's what I wanted. But I'm so angry I had to give up the surprise. I had to spoil it for everybody. And I know how some of you feel about spoilies. Well, too bad. Sorry. But it should be a good time. We're gonna get past this snow crap. I'm tired of the snow. I hate the snow. It stinks. Unless 5 or 6 guys want to come over and play some football, then it's not so bad. And good luck with that. Who's gonna? I need to convince 10 friends to drive 2+ hours to this area to play football in the snow, leave their families to come do that for 30 minutes before we all get too tired anyway. Good luck, Libretti. Well, that's all I got to say about that. The only other thing I want to talk about, it's maybe 6 seconds long, 30 seconds long, maybe. I don't know why this is so funny to me. Someone could explain it. Maybe I need to bring this up to you guys to find out if I'm just becoming like just my sense of humor is diminishing or something. But after we shoveled today the snow, I went grocery shopping with my old man. Um, Helped him out. He buys me my nice waters And so I felt like, okay, I'll go help him out. We'll go grocery shopping together. I had to stop and get fuel for the snowblower anyway. So I went with him, and we're going to ShopRite's the main grocery store around here. And then there's this other store called Job Lots. It's like it's like one of those money saver stores. There's Big Lots. It's similar to Big Lots. There's a couple other stores out there. It's not a Dollar General by any means. It's better than that. It's like no shade to the Dollar Generals, even though most of them are actual rackets. Believe it or not, we'll get into that tinfoil hat theory at a different time. But it's a step above Dollar Generals and dollar stores, Dollar Trees. I can't really describe it. It's a store that has nicer stuff, but at a decent rate, and it's also unique stuff. It's not stuff that you can get at ShopRite. It's more so one-off stuff. They sell Portuguese muffins at this Job Lots. Portuguese muffin. We talked about this in the past. If you like English muffins, Portuguese muffins are going to blow your balls off. They're tremendous. So I'll go to Job Lots, or I'll have Crazy Carol go to Job Lots and pick me up a pack of those to bring back with me. And I eat them with my breakfast. Just tremendous. Just phenomenal. Phenomenal. Anyway, that's when we have the time, we'll hit a couple of grocery stores. And Job Lots is one of those stores because they have certain types of coffee and this and that you can get there. For whatever reason, as you know, JPL3 never gets the name right of a store or a place or anything like that. Never does. I don't know what he saw on the sign when he first went to that store, but he just decided one day like this store is not called Job Lots, it's called Big Job. And it's not one of those things he does it on purpose to try to be funny, or it started as a joke and it became just like a thing that we say now, like sandwich. Like we started saying sandwich in my family because we were laughing at the movie Analyze This with Billy Crystal and Bob De Niro before he went gay. And one of the characters in there, his character's name was Jelly. And he was saying the word sandwich instead of sandwich, and we laughed, and we were kids when we first saw it, and it stuck. So now I say sandwich. Me and Sticks, it's like, hey, you want to get a sandwich? That's so it became a thing. This is not a thing with him. My dad just like reads things wrong or only sees one word or whatever it is. Just like with Bucko's, with the gas station Bucky's, it's Bucko's. He saw it looked like an O to him, so I was Bucko's, and this is Big Jobs. Hey, I gotta go. We're gonna go to ShopRite, and we're gonna stop at Big Jobs on the way home so I can get a pack of coffee or whatever. And the first time he said it, not this year, it was like last year or whatever. I didn't know what he was talking. I thought there was a store called Big Jobs because again, there's all these. There's a Big Lots and there's a Job Lots. So I thought, oh, Big Job. It could have worked. Maybe that's what it was. Maybe he thought it was a Big Lots, and then he got there and it was a Job Lot, and he just combined the two. I could see that happening, but for whatever reason he calls it Big Job, and he writes it down on this list. He has a list of food items that say ShopRite, vegetables, waters, milk, eggs, regular stuff at the grocery store. Big Job, coffee, Portuguese muffins, what have yous, at Big Job. And he's, oh, we got to stop at ShopRite. We got to go to Big Job. And I was like, what the hell is Big Job? I looked it up in the map the first time on my phone. I was like, where is Big Jobs in Sparta? And it was like no results. In fact, I think the map was making fun of me. It's like, what the hell are you talking about, you big nose idiot? Who would name a store Big Jobs? It doesn't make sense for a grocery style store like that. Maybe that's a contracting company that contracts out people to big jobs that need extra temp work. But you're not going to buy coffee at a big job. You're going to find a couple of, union pipe fitters at a big job, though. But for whatever reason, I thought it was funny because when we finally drove by it the first time together, he's like, okay, we're at Big Job. We're gonna go pick up the stuff. I was like, oh, job lot. It says like super save at job lot on the sign. It's like that's what he's talking about, not big jobs. It just sounded like I don't know why. It just sounded like when you get those foreign versions of toys and action figures, like Godzilla, the off brand is called Big Fella. I just it just made me think of that Big Fella, or instead of RoboCop, Robert Cop. It was just he just is the off brand. That's him. Ever since we were kids, we were buying all the off brand stuff, the store brand stuff. Until my mom started working at Nabisco, we were buying the ShopRite brand Oreos or whatever they're called, the Numinos, because Paul Newman had his own brand. Definitely not the same. The ShopRite brand Oreos are god awful, but that's what we were eating until my mom started getting the hookup on real Oreos and other stuff from Nabisco. But that's he. He is store brand. He's a store brand guy. He is the off brand guy. And I'm okay with that. I just thought it was funny that we got to go to, ShopRite, and then we got to go buy a Big Fella, and we got to go get Robert Cop, and then Big Jobs. We're going to Big Jobs. You can get coffee at Big Jobs. And it's written down on the list. It's official, Big Jobs. And you correct them, and you tell them, hey, it's Job Lots. Got it, Job Lots. No problem. So when are we going to Big Jobs? I got to get coffee at Big Jobs. Hey, it's Job Lots. Got it. Big Jobs. That's it. It's in his head. Once it's in there, that's it. And I get that too. This is not dogging on the old man. That's I get like that too with stuff if I mix up names. I'm just saying it was funny to me. Hearing anybody talk about Big Jobs, going to get your fix at Big Jobs. It's just, I don't know why. It was funny to me. That's it. That's the joke. These are the jokes, folks. That's all I got to say about that. Before we go, very quickly, the big three, the three pillars of staying strong, being a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being, and spreading that positivity and goodness to all those around you throughout the land. Number one, exercise every day. Do something every day to improve your health, fitness, and wellness, physically, mentally, or emotionally. Number two, the hardest one to do, don't be a shitty person, be a kind person. When the opportunity arises to be negative and shitty and mean to anybody or any entity, even if it's online through your social media profiles, even if that person deserves it or you think they deserve it, take the LPDS step back, detach from those negative emotions, remove yourself from the situation altogether. Put the phone down, close your laptop, walk away, do whatever you got to do. Just remove yourself from that situation. That way you're minimizing the negativity going on in your space, in your brain space, your mindset, and in the world around you. And you're allowing yourself the capacity to go focus on more positive, productive things with your lives, like exercising. Number three, the most important one, be genuinely thankful and grateful for all the good you have in your lives. And you can do this actively each day by thinking about one good thing in your life and thinking about what your life would be like without that thing. And that will actively put you in the state of gratitude. And instead of just saying like, yeah, I am grateful for everything, and you just kind of slough it off. I don't know if that's a real word or not, but you just kind of dismiss it. Yeah, I'm grateful. Trust me, I'm grateful. But you never actually take the time to think about what your life would be like without all the good you got in it. It's not going to be as effective. So think about one good thing that happened to you in the last 24 hours, or one good thing that happened in your life, or write down each day one good thing in your life that you are grateful for. And that will put you in that state of gratitude when you realize kind of how shitty your life would be without that thing or that person or that experience or whatever. And the more you're in that state of gratitude, the easier it is to not be a shitty person, to be a kind person, and the more time and space and capacity you have to go focus on more positive, productive things every day, like exercising. And if you do these three things a little bit each and every day, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more, the repetition, 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 I promise you, you'll be a better, happier, kinder, healthier, less stressed, more genuine human being. You'll be able to spread that positivity and goodness to all those around you and throughout the land. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe and put your notifications on and tell your friends and enemies and hit that hotline 202-670-1114. Love the hotline calls. Please call them in if you have anything. I got to get better at reminding people midweek on the socials about all this stuff I keep talking about, like the hotline. But I love the hotline calls. Call them in, please. I'm here for them. Anything you want to talk about, or a prank call, comedy bit, question, advice, feedback, anything you want, hit that hotline, 202-670-1114. Thank you guys again. I love you all. Stay strong.